Hey guys, welcome back to Activated Live. We have had a very prolonged summer break, which I did not plan, but I have come back more excited than ever to run these. And if you didn't know, there's now a voxer broadcast group, which I must admit I've not posted in yet because I've been meaning to, and I keep forgetting. The broadcast group is there. If more of you join it, I'll be more active in it. So jump inside. It's completely free. My intention with it, and to be honest with you, my intention is that like when I go on walks or when I'm driving, I'll use a bit more because I tend to process stuff as I'm driving, and I just haven't been driving much in my daytimes because I've been quite full. But when I'm driving, when I'm walking, I'm gonna just riff on things that are coming up for me in business in real time. So they'll just be like 2 to 8 minutes. You know me, they might be long, but like a couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes of just things I'm moving through. So challenges I've moved through or breakthroughs I've had, or just kind of musings on what's going on in the coaching world, in the business world, all the different things. So that's going to be a really great place to jump inside. So please join the Voxer broadcast group. And then obviously we have the slightly longer musings on these weekly calls as well. So I am super excited to be here today. And I was like, oh, what should I talk about on Activated Live? So much has happened over the summer. I'm like, what theme shall I have? And it's been an incredible summer. And it's one of the reasons why I haven't managed to get this into my schedule, because my little boy started nursery full-time in May. If anyone knows, has followed closely, me working up to getting him into nursery was a massive deal for me because my eldest didn't go until he was 2. So this one started a lot when he was younger. He was like 13 months when he first went. I've been slowly increasing the days. And so that was a really big deal for me to have him at nursery. And then I thought I'd have all the time in the world, and I really didn't. So the health business in particular has gone a little bit wild. Over the summer, we did the second round of my Nourished You program. We had a 36K launch. And then I had like multiple multimillionaires come into my world wanting to do the healing work around like adrenal health and stress and breath work and stuff. And then I had a whole bunch of one-to-one business coaching clients come in as well when I wasn't even posting. So I've had like a really full diary and lots of success in business, and it's been amazing. But there's always challenges alongside all the successes. And that's what I feel like I want to speak into today, because at this time of recording, it is World Mental Health Day. And I've done a post, which is going out after this on my health account. I might put it across both accounts, about women's hormones and mental health. And it's just not something we talk about, like hormone imbalances causing anxiety and depression. And so we all know that there's genetic predispositions when it comes to different mental health conditions. Obviously, there's absolutely loads of mental health conditions. I'm not going to go into anything that's kind of too heavy today, although it does feel heavy when you've got anxiety and depression. But I'm going to talk about more about the stresses around business and how it impacts us. There's obviously genetic predispositions. There's the gut health stuff, obviously, because of the gut-brain axis and how it's so intricately linked. But I don't find people talking about the hormonal imbalances. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that for you to give that context. But then I'm also going to talk like a wider conversation around mental health in business and why I think we need to talk about it more. So, and I don't know what will come out of my mouth because I haven't thought about it, but you know me, I just like to channel. So for anyone that doesn't know, and I'm sure you all know by now, I've had a lot of issues with mental health over the years. I developed an eating disorder when I was 19. I've had a lot of anxiety and depression, and it's never ending. So I literally woke myself in the middle of the night twice, having panic attacks last night. Non-specific panic attacks, so it wasn't something specific that had caused them. My heart was like beating out my chest so loud, so like furiously. I literally thought I was going to die. I was like, what is this happening? And I realized I was having a panic attack. And it isn't like, if you've never had that happen before, and I haven't, I've had like a lot of anxiety before. I've never had that before. It wasn't like when your heart's racing when you're doing a workout and it's just like going really fast and like, you know, and it's like a good, like you feel like there's a lot going on, but it's like good. It was slow and really like furious and like banging. And it was, yeah, I felt like my whole body was doing something crazy. So anyway, really relevant that that's just happened around Mental Health Awareness Day. But yeah, so I've struggled with it. And I had this whole period, we won't talk about the eating disorder, but I had this whole period between, I don't know, like 30, 36-ish, probably, maybe a little bit younger, to 36-ish. And it was when I'd like recovered from the eating disorder, but I'd sort of replaced that eating disorder with becoming a workaholic. So I worked like super long hours, weekends, was like studying alongside work as well, like always doing the most, longest hours, working the hardest, all the different things. You know, I was sleep deprived because my adrenals were such a wreck. I wasn't sleeping at night. I was tired but wired. I was having my really bad night sweats. I'm sure I've talked about this on here before. I don't want to bore you all with the story. But yeah, obviously I was like waking several times because of the night sweats, because of all my hormonal imbalances. And yeah, that chronic cortisol production, which was like, and the adrenaline sort of keeping me going. So everyone thought I'd like the most energy and like Lynda, the go-to girl, she does the most. But like really my health was a mess. And so this chronic stress piece had caused me to have low levels of all hormones. So I had low estrogen. So signs of low estrogen would be things like a really light bleed. So like half a day to 2 days, like really watered down cranberry juice, like not a proper, like nice red color, like a normal bleed. And then you get other things with that. So low libido, you know, pain on intercourse and dry vagina and all that kind of stuff, because that's kind of all linked to the estrogen bit. But also depression is one of the things that comes with it. Depression, low mood. And so I had that going on. And then because I wasn't ovulating because I didn't have a menstrual cycle, so most of our progesterone is produced after ovulation, the second half of the menstrual cycle. And progesterone is beautiful because it's an anti-anxiety, it's an antidepressive, it's a diuretic, so it helps you get rid of any water retention as well. It supports sleep, you know, and it does other nice things, like it helps you burn fat as an energy source, it supports hair growth, like there's different things, right? But it's an anti-anxiety, it's an antidepressive, it supports sleep. So because I wasn't getting progesterone production, obviously you get a tiny little bit from your adrenals, but if you're chronically stressed, you're really not making much from your adrenals. So I had the anxiety and depression from that as well. And then I had low testosterone as well. And so that low testosterone also comes with like low mood, depression. It also comes with things like confusion, brain fog, like low motivation. So like I was a workaholic, right? I was a workaholic, but actually motivated to go and do other things beyond like that wasn't there as well. And so I used to like drive home like crying every single night, and I couldn't like put my finger on it because I was like, I love my job. Like I loved my job so much. And on paper, I had like everything I could possibly want: a beautiful home, you know, husband, 2 dogs, 2 cats, you know, great company car, like all the different things, made great money. Like on paper, everything should have been fine, but I would like cry going home every single night. And I look back now and I'm like, of course you were, Lynda. You had low estrogen, low testosterone, and low progesterone. And then obviously like it doesn't even go into like the neurotransmitter stuff, you know, chronic stress, you know, we can end up with low dopamine, for example, gut health issues end up with like low serotonin. And obviously I was chronically constipated as well. So yeah, so I had like low levels of my hormones. And I just don't think this is talked about enough. And then you can have the opposite end. So if you've got elevated estrogen, elevated testosterone, either or, you can get like anger, irritability, kind of PMS, and like getting really light and really bad mood swings and stuff. And so all of these things obviously impacting our mood. And I think this is important when we think about business, because if our mood is like all over the place, if we've got really bad anxiety, if we're feeling really low, if we're having bad sleep, because the sleep makes things worse, right? If you have bad sleep, you are going to feel worse the next day. Your mood is going to be all over the place. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be craving sugary stuff. Blood sugar crashes. It's all linked, right? So sleep's really important. So if you've got these things going on, you aren't going to perform as well in the business. Things are going to get to you more. So imagine if like sales aren't coming in, you're putting your offer out, no one's buying anything from you. You've already got anxiety, then you start to worry about money, your anxiety is going to go even worse, and this is going to start to spiral you. If you've got low mood, if you've got depression, again, similar. People aren't buying from you. You're going to start to question your self-worth. You're going to start to take it all really personally. You're going to fall into a really bad hole. You'll probably want to hide away. You won't want to go on social media. You won't want to show up and sell your offers. And it's all going to make you feel worse as well. And so I think it's important that we think about hormones and balancing our hormones in business. You know, as you guys know, I fuse that with my one-to-one clients, and in my group programs, I teach about health stuff as well. And the Let's Make Money Honey experience, we had a module on like how stress impacts women's health, like the gut, the hormones, all the different things. Because I think it is really important that health is wealth, and we need that health to have successful businesses. If we're burning ourselves out, we stop showing up. We have to take time away from the business. And I keep doing this. I keep burning myself out and then having to pull back. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's like I might have to go a bit too hard and then have to take 3-4 days out of the business. So it's not as bad as like burnout, but it's just like feeling a bit burnt out. You know what I mean? The difference in terms of like full adrenal fatigue versus just feeling like a little bit exhausted and needing a little bit of a rest. So I mean, looking after our health, I think it's really important. So actually, if you are somebody who has a lot of health, you know, if you've got PMS, painful periods, gut health issues, you know, you struggle sleeping, you struggle falling asleep, you struggle waking up, you're losing your hair, you've got skin issues, you've got brittle nails, or whatever it is, like any of these symptoms, these all start to signal to these hormonal imbalances, gut health stuff, detoxification, whatever it is. These all signal that your body's not working at its most optimal. And there's going to be a tipping point if it's not working its optimal, when it's just going to crash. So it gives its little whispers to start with. It's like the body gives its whispers until like you have to hear its screams. So if you don't kind of resolve these things as you go, it's going to all crash, right? So first things first, just channeling as always. I want you to think about your health. I want you to start to think about, okay, how is my energy? How is my mood? How's my gut? How are my poos? How are my periods? If you're postmenopausal, how has the menopause been? All the different things, right? And if you're starting to, and you don't feel it's great, I want you to start to pay a little bit more attention. If you go over to my health account, there's a whole load of advice. If you want to come inside of Nourished You, I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but this is my 12-week program. It's actually been taught over 14 weeks because we're going to have 2 integration weeks. This is the last time I'm running it live. And we kick off on the 30th of October, and we're currently in early birds to get 50% off. So also message me about that. Drop me a DM on Instagram, drop me an email, just reply to one of the Activate Live emails if you want to learn more about Nourished You, because it is a whole body women's health program where we look about everything. But we also do a lot of work around, we do loads of breath work. So we have weekly breath works as well. So we're doing stuff around perfectionism, self-worth, confidence, all these different things, right? So just as an aside, come and message me at Nourished You. Or if you want higher touch support, obviously message me about one-to-ones. So obviously my one-to-one fuses women's health with nervous system regulation stuff, lots of NLP and breath work, my neurosomatic breath work, which is kind of my formula as well as the marketing strategy, so that we can like scale without burning out. So do message me about that. You can do like short-term containers as well. There's like 30, 60, 90-day offers that you can talk to me about one-to-one stuff. So that's aside. So let's talk about, aside from the hormones then let's talk about more about mental health in business then, and let's just see what channels through me. So I don't think this is talked about enough of the, if you're a solopreneur, if like, or you're a personal brand, if you are the face of the brand, it can be very difficult to put yourself out there and not take things personally if people aren't buying. And it's very easy to say, like, the business is separate from you and you are not the same. And if people aren't buying your offers, it's not that they're not buying you, they're just not buying that offer. But like, I get it, right? It's very hard to kind of go, but I am the offer, like they're buying my services. Of course, they're rejecting you. And so we really need to have a really strong mindset around this to make sure this doesn't derail us and stop us showing up. For example, so the first round of Nourished You was great, sold well. The second round of Nourished You was like insane. We had like 27 people sign up, and I'd like gone into launch with 12,500 pre-sales. It was 36k launch in the end. It was amazing. And I did a 5-day challenge for it. In fact, I'm pretty sure last time I was doing Activate Live, I was talking about doing this challenge and burning myself out in that challenge, which is hilarious because I did the same again this time. And when I was promoting Ditch the Diet, which is the lead magnet that goes into Nourished You, so it was a 5-day challenge. I changed it into 7 days this time. When I was promoting that, the first time, it's like 8 to 10 people sign up every day. It just felt so easy. Like it, I mean, that's in hindsight, right? In the moment, there were up days and down days, right? So there's some days that sales didn't come through. Signups didn't come through, but generally it was kind of on average 8 to 10 people coming through every day. It was just dead easy, didn't have to do much. selling the program, dead easy, didn't need to do much. And for me, the timing of that round was really bad. It was June. It was a weight loss program. And it was like, well, it's too, like, people are just going to think it's too late. They're going on summer holidays now. They don't think it's going to work in time. They won't bother with it, right? But obviously it went really well. So then I was like, well, of course, if this has done so well, just imagine what it's going to be like if I launch in September, like back to school, people want to get like ready for Christmas. It's just going to fly off the shelf. Well, I launched Ditch the Diet and crickets. I was getting like 1 to 2 people signing up each day, like literally 1 to 2 people signing up each day. And it was just like, I want to swear, but like, I won't swear, but it was like a mind, like, what? Why is no signing up for this? It's a free challenge. It's 7 days of free challenge. It's incredible. And the time's perfect because it's like, we've got this time before Christmas. Everyone wants to get in the Christmas party dress, whatever it is. Now, I could have let that derail me, right? And I could have taken that really personally. And I could have been like, nobody likes me. No one wants to join my free challenge. Boo-hoo-hoo. I'm going to close down my business. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely had pity parties in my business. But the reality is, it isn't about me doing the challenge. It isn't about the name, whatever, right? It's like I just wasn't communicating the transformation that they were going to get out of coming into this free space. I wasn't communicating it in the language that they needed to see that promoted. So then what I had to do was look back at it, okay, like, why isn't this cutting through? Why aren't people jumping through the doors? And have that mindset of, it actually isn't about me. Like, it is about you, right? Because people buy from people. And I'm going to keep saying this on this podcast. I'm going to, like, you know, contradict myself, and you're going to be like, but you always say people buy from people, Lynda. So it is about you. Absolutely. Right. But if they're in your space, if they've been following you on Instagram for a while and they're still following you, there's a level of like, they like you, otherwise they just unfollow and go, right? So they're already in your space. This isn't like, you know, random Facebook ads I'm running. Like, everything I do is organic. So they're just not feeling motivated enough. So rather than taking it personally, yeah, sure, I had a pity party. I'm like, why was it flying off last time and it's not this time? But then I was like, okay, Lynda, well, what needs changing? Because everything is feedback. All information is feedback. People are buying, that's feedback. If people aren't buying, that's feedback. People signing up for a free challenge, that's feedback. If people aren't signing up for its feedback. So was it too many days? Like, people think like 7 days, that's too overwhelming, can't do it. It needs to be 3 days. Was it the language? Was it the title of it? Like, this is all stuff you need to look at, right? And so that's the first thing, that you need to like detach yourself from the results, because it's very easy to take everything personally, but you need to remember, like, you are an expert. You're incredible at what you do. You have given other people transformations before. You've given yourself your own transformation. And if people aren't buying, it's simply the element of a communication piece that's not, that communication isn't coming across enough. Now, I'm not a big one on recommending people do research. I'm a big one in channeling things through and putting it out there. I believe that source gives us ideas for a reason, and other people's manifestations, and they come through us and we need to put them out. And so I'm not massively like, research it and ask questions. However, if things really aren't selling, and I did this for the first round of Nourish You before I actually launched it, but I didn't really listen very well to the feedback. But something that I could do if people weren't buying it this time is I could go back to that research that I did before I launched Nourish You the first time and pull out some of the key phrases and make sure I've dropped them in, because that clearly is like, those people were telling me what they wanted, so I can use that language. But if something really, really isn't selling, like I really am channeling going off on one eye, then do speak to people. So reach out and find like 3 to 5 of your ideal clients, even if they're friends and family, but you know that even if they wouldn't work with you because they're friends or family, but you know that you've got a transformation that they desire, speak to them and get their language out of them so that you can put their language in whatever it is you're trying to sell, right? Because sometimes we can be a bit clever, and because we're so many steps ahead of where our clients are, sometimes we can forget the exact way we were feeling at the moment when we needed that program. So sometimes we do just need to like refresh and be like, okay, now I think they need this, but actually what they need right now is this, and this is what they want, right? So that's the first thing that you can do. So just going all over the place. Another thing that obviously that's going to impact our mental health is, so we've got sales, we've got people like not showing up, we've got the money roller coaster, right? There's a lot of people in this space that talk about how like months just go up and up and up and up and up. And it's like, I get my minimum and it just goes up from there, right? And that's amazing. And these people have probably been in business like 3, 5, 7, 8 years, whatever it is, right? The reality is when we're first getting going in the first couple of years, and this won't be the case for everyone, but this is definitely my experience, that our businesses can go up and down. So we can have these incredible months and then they can seemingly crash out of nowhere. And then they might stay low and then come back and go up for a little while and then go down again. And if you are attaching your worth to your income, this is when your mental health is going to fall off a cliff. And this is when you're going to go, I can't do this. I need to go back to corporate. Because the thing about corporate gives us is consistent income. So it doesn't give us the growth that we can get through owning our own business. And we might get the odd bonus here and there. And sometimes we might get a pay rise and go up a little bit. But it is pretty like consistent, right? You know what you're going to get each month. Assuming, touch wood, that nothing happens. You can't get made redundant, right? So when we come into this space of like up and down, it can be very unsettling to the nervous system. So this is why I am such a fan of breath work and why I do so much breath work with all of my clients and why I do so much breath work with myself. I did a post last week and I was like, most people are telling you to post more when you're in a launch. When I'm in a launch, I'm doing more breath work. Like I'm just lying there, increasing my capacity to receive, increasing my capacity to hold more space for more clients and releasing any blocks to that coming in. And the other element of it is this nervous system regulation, right? Like allowing it kind of increases our window of tolerance so that we can hold more of this like uncertainty. We can sit with more certainty in uncertainty. And so getting comfortable, like you can choose, right? If you're Amanda Francis will go, choose your energetic minimum. It's going to happen. Go with it, right? And I love that, right? And that has definitely been my experience for a number of months, but then sometimes it will crash out of nowhere. And it's like, okay. And so just as an aside, just make sure you've got money in the bank. So if you do have like a low month or two, you can still pay your bills and you're not getting into a space where it's like, I literally can't afford to live anymore, right? Like don't spend every single penny that you've got all the time. Like be a little bit sensible with your cash. But yeah, really like detaching your worth from those numbers and also getting comfortable with the fact numbers might change and also businesses can be seasonal, cyclical, seasonal. I obviously have worked in a lot of retail brands. I've worked for travel brands. I've worked for beauty brands. I've worked for homeware brands. And all of those businesses have had some level of seasonality. Some of those would have big peaks around like Christmas sales. Some of them would have peaks around people booking summer holidays in January. You know, Christmas, like pre-Christmas, that kind of October to December in the beauty industry, that was like massive that season. You know, some businesses that I've worked at have taken like literally 60% of their income in one quarter because their businesses were that cyclical. And yeah, you can go, well, with a coaching business, it doesn't need to be like that because we can always have different offers coming out and they can always be relevant. But, you know, you may notice yourself that you are a little bit seasonal, you're a little bit cyclical. Like sometimes you've got more energy, you want to be going out, you want to be selling more, and sometimes you want to pull back from your business. Last year, I took the whole of December off and then the first couple of weeks of January, and it was amazing. Like it was one of the best things I ever did because I've, you know, with this a number of like birthdays in December, my wedding anniversary, then we've got Christmas, start of January, it's my husband's birthday. It's like there's a lot going on. And so it's like really nice to be able to pull back from that business and not be like selling anything specifically and just serving my existing clients that I've got and just taking some time out. And so when you're doing that, you know, you can be like throwing stuff out on evergreen and all that kind of thing. But sometimes you're just like, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to take some time away. And of course, that's going to have a knock-on impact on your sales if you're not actively going out there and selling stuff. And then it's up to you to decide if you want that sort of business or not. Because, you know, if you're a Manny-Gen, if you're a generator, you might not want that sort of business. If you're a projector like me, like taking time out to rest is super important for my business success, but burnout, mood, energy, mental health, right? I need those time out. I've actually just recently, about 3 weeks ago, blocked out Fridays as Lynda days. And they are now non-negotiable. You can't book in my diary on a Friday. They're blocked out. They're blocked in as Lynda days. And Friday afternoons, like do some admin stuff in the morning for myself, like, just whatever I want to do that morning. But then Friday afternoons are spa days. And I just go into like the meditation room, and I do an hour rebirthing breath work for myself in that room, and go in the sauna, the steam room, might go for a swim, whatever it is, do yoga Pilates class before I go into the sauna, whatever it is. But like going to the spas are non-negotiable. Like that is like in my diary, whether I do something first or not, like I'm in that spa, I'm living my best life, because self-care is so important, and so important for our mental health. I'm just looking at the time to see how long we've been. I think we're coming up about 5 minutes away from being 30 minutes. And I do want to try and keep these to 30 minutes. So is there anything else I'd like to say at this moment in time that wants to channel through me? I think I feel quite complete with that. So yeah, I mean, we channeled in lots of different directions there, but yeah, mental health in business, really important, can be connected to gut stuff, can be connected to hormonal stuff, can be connected to self-worth, like attaching our worth to extrinsic factors rather than internally sourcing our self-worth, bad mindset stuff or wounding around money stuff. All of these different things are going to impact our mental health if we're going through these different seasons. The other thing that come up, sorry, I'm just going to say this because it's coming through, is like you may get things like sister wounds coming up, particularly if you are a coach, a service provider, a healer, anything where you're working one-to-one with clients. Not every relationship with one-to-ones is going to end how you want it to end. Some relationships may end like in a difficult way. Those behaviors might come up where they start to push you away at the end of your container because they're kind of getting themselves ready to not be working with you anymore. So they pull back, and that can feel like a bit of rejection as the one-to-one client, the coach, the healer, whatever it is. You might have other people who don't implement and came to you as like the savior, and they're just not implementing, they're not making changes, and it can be quite frustrating for you. And that can feel difficult as a one-to-one relationship as well, because you feel like having the same conversations over and over again. It doesn't feel like anything's changing. These sorts of things can come up, which again is going to impact your mental health. So that's another thing where you really need to be sourcing your self-worth, your power, your motivation, all these different things from within, and knowing that, we are here to support our clients and give them the most incredible experience, but that you're not there to hold their hand and make them do the work. You can't stand over them at the desk 24/7, right? And so making sure that you're not attaching like whether they do what they've agreed to do or not to you. If your other clients are doing it, then that 90% of people are doing it, and it's like the 1%, the 10%, whatever it is. And again, it's not about you. So that just channeled through as well. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but hopefully that landed and was helpful. I really enjoyed this. So as a reminder, jump inside of the Voxer broadcast group, because I'm going to riff on things as they come up, and it's going to be really fun in there. If you want one-to-one support, there are different ways to work with me one-to-one, from my whole 6-month Fierce Feminine Ascension package to the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day intensive with me in the run up to the end of the year. So message me about either of those. If it's more like the health stuff you're interested in, Nourished You, also message me about that, because that is currently on 50% off. It's an incredible program. It is 18 self-paced modules plus weekly breath work, and it's amazing. So there we go. There's also going to be some exciting business programs coming up really soon. So sorry, my lunch is just repeating on me. I don't want to give away the name just now, because sometimes I'll change my mind, but there is a business program launching really soon, and in the new year there's also going to be a mastermind. So if you're interested in either of those, drop me DM, particularly if you're a coach, healer, any kind of service provider looking to scale to 6 figures in your business. You will be very excited about those offers. So do message me if you're interested in any of those. And I will see you back here, same time, same place, next Tuesday. And before then, I will see you in the Voxer broadcast group. It's so good to be back. any subjects you want me to speak into, you can also request, just hit reply to any of the emails, and I'm sending lots of love.